Welcome. This is Afrotel's television, where Africa's ancestors come alive. In the heart of southern Nigeria, where the dense forest holds secrets older than the memory of man, there stood a house that few dared to approach. Its walls, crumbling and half swallowed by weeds, bore silent witness to decades of whispers and shadows. As its center, looming like a sentinel of time, was an ancient Iroko tree. The Iroko tree had roots that burrowed deep into the red earth and branches that clawed at the sky as if to hold back the storm clouds. The people of the town kept their distance. To them, the house was not merely abandoned, it was remembered. Remembered by the land, by the spirits, by the past that refused to be buried. They said no one who entered that house ever left unchanged. And when the Oladun family arrived, believing they had found their new beginning, the ground stirred with memories that had been waiting, patient and hungry. It was the year 2004. The Oladuns, a family of four, left behind the noise of Lagos in search of peace, stability, and a second chance. The father was a man determined to rebuild after financial loss. The mother carried hope in her heart, but unease in her spirit. And the children, full of laughter and curiosity, saw the wide yard and the massive tree as a place of play, not of fear. But the town whispered. Old men sitting under palm fronds muttered that the house was never truly empty. Women at the market exchanged glances when the family passed by, and those who knew the story of the Iroko crossed themselves silently whenever its shadow stretched across the road. The family ignored the warnings. After all, fear is for the superstitious. They swept the dusty floors, patched the broken roof, and claimed the house as their own. But in doing so, they woke what should have been left asleep. The forest has its own language, and soon the house began to speak. At first, it was subtle. Doors creaked, though they were shut tight. Windows rattled when there was no wind. At night, the insects would fall silent, replaced by the sound of faint humming, like a lullaby sung by no one visible. The children noticed first. The boy had laughter in the halls. The girl began to draw strange faces in her notebook, faces with hollow eyes and mouths stretched too wide. The mother found footprints pressed into the dust of the corridor, small and wet as though a child had walked barefoot across the floor. Still, the Iroko loomed. Its roots bulged from the ground as though alive, twisting like the coils of a serpent. At dusk, when the sun fell behind its branches, shadows spread across the compound in shapes that didn't belong to the leaves. Every house has a story, and this one had roots entangled greed and betrayal. Long before the Oladuns arrived, the land was owned by a wealthy trader in the 19th century. He dealt in ivory, palm oil, and blood. To secure his wealth, he sought power beyond men, making offerings to the spirits of the forest. The shrine of his covenant lay beneath the Iroko tree. Sacrifices were buried at its base, their cries swallowed by the earth. For years, his fortune grew, but the spirits demanded more. When the trader withheld their offerings, thinking himself untouchable, the covenant turned against him. His family vanished one by one, claimed by the tree. He himself died in madness, clawing at the soil, begging forgiveness that never came. The town sealed the house, but memory is not so easily sealed. The spirits waited, patient in the root of the Iroko, until another family would dare to disturb their rest. It was 2 years later, in 2006, when the forest claimed again. The children were playing at dusk, their laughter echoing across the compound. The father lit a lantern, the mother prepared dinner, but suddenly silence fell, too sharp, too heavy. The lantern's flame flickered, and the air grew thick. The mother called their names, no reply. She searched the rooms, empty. She ran outside, her heart pounding, only to find the ground disturbed beneath the Iroko tree. The soil was loose, plowed as though by many small hands, and from the roots, faintly glowing, were shadows shaped like children's faces, sinking deeper as though the tree was swallowing them whole. The mother screamed. The father dug into the earth with his bare hands, but the ground gave nothing back. The children were gone. The town whispered louder now. The house has remembered. Grief followed the Oladun family. The mother fell into silence, her eyes haunted. The father drowned himself in obsession, searching records, journals, old testimonies. The house was abandoned once again, left to the creeping vines and the shadows that moved without wind. Yet, The Iroko stood proud. To the townsfolk, it became a warning. Children were told to avoid its shade. Farmers refused to work the land nearby. The tree and the house beside it became a story at night, a lesson wrapped in fear. But the father would not let go. He returned often, sketching the carvings on the walls, tracing histories hidden in the archives. He discovered the covenant of the trader, the curse of the Iroko, and the truth that had long been buried. His journals filled with one desperate question: could the children be returned? By 2012, the family returned with help. The father gaunt and gray, the mother frail but resolute. With them came an elder who still remembered the chants, and a diviner who knew the language of the spirits. That night, they gathered under the Iroko tree. Lamps flickered. Calabashes of palm oil and kola nuts were placed at the roots. The air throbbed with drum beats, and the wind began to howl. As they chanted, smoke rose from the soil. The ground trembled, and from the mist stepped a figure, tall, cloaked in tattered wealth, coral beads draped across a half-decayed chest. His eyes glowed like embers. His voice echoed like thunder. I gave, and they served me. I withheld, and they betrayed me. These children are mine. But the chants grew louder. The offerings burned brighter. The Iroko shook violently, branches flashing against the sky. Then came the sound, soft, fragile, the voice of a child. Mama, let's go. And in the blaze of the light, the children appeared, pale but breathing. Lying at the roots of the tree, the spirit hallowed, turned back into the earth, bound once more by the covenant it had broken. When dawn came, the compound lay silent. The Iroko stood still, its roofs no longer glowing. The house, battered and broken, seemed to sigh as the first light touched it. The Oladun family held each other, trembling and weeping. The children, dazed but alive, clung to their mother's dress. The father's journal closed at last. The townspeople would speak of it for generations. Some called it a miracle, others a warning, but all agreed the house was not cursed, only wounded, and wounds demand healing. Some say this Iroko still remembers that when the wind passes through its branches, it carries whispers of those who once claimed. And if you listen closely, you will hear it, the echo of truth, as old as the land itself. respect the spirits, honor the land some houses remember. If you have enjoyed this story so far, please subscribe to Afrotel's channel, share and comment as we bring you more mysterious stories like this. Thanks for watching.